This is Johnny and Jose with Tiger Bomb MMA, and tonight we'll be going over UFC Fight Night, UFC Paris, Gane versus Tuivasa. Overall, interesting fight card. You brought it up, Jose, before we got on. You were expecting a lot of hot French fighters, like possibly, not to say that she's hot, but Manon Fiorot, but nothing on here. It's kind of slim pickings. Like there's not a whole ton of French fighters, but overall, it's a decent enough fight card for it taking place pretty damn early. So if you have anything to do in the afternoon, this is the card for you. But yeah, let's get started with the first fight. Actually, before that, welcome back, Jose. I know you were gone for a couple weeks. Want to fill people in where you were?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I was starting my new job. I won't say where it is because I know you guys are going to jump on there, show clips of, or audio clips or video clips of everything we said, and probably get me fired. So, not saying not saying where, but suffice to say, it's a lot better situation, a lot cooler job. I'm running out of space to put stuff that I'm getting from that job, and I don't mean like office pens and staplers and stuff. Um, yeah, it's just really really good. It's just a lot better situation. I no longer have to um, struggle with even getting up in the morning. Uh, Meaning, like with my previous job, it was just I was just miserable there. Didn't really want to get up in the morning anymore. I didn't really want to work in that office or work remote. It was just horrible. But it's complete 180. It's awesome now. I get to get up every day and look forward to the day. Even though the days here have been, or the last few weeks here have been pretty damn hot and humid. Uh, and also, I'm in the best shape I've been in like 10, 12 years. Doing a lot of walking now. So,
There's like so much shit I want to say, but it gives away where you would work. But
yeah.
let's just say there's good things coming this October. But let's get started.
And
Let's get
yeah,
started with the main card.
they're probably gonna figure it out and get me fired pretty soon. So yeah.
Nah, they won't. They won't figure shit out. First fight of the night, we've got William Gomis versus Jarno Errens. I don't know much about these guys. I have to tape watch them, and suffice to say, it seems as if it's a really good spot for Gomis. I don't know if it's Gomis, like Gomez, but he's the French fighter here. He's 25 years old. Jarno Errens, he's from the Netherlands, the Dutchman, 27 years old. Similar records, 10-2 for Gomez and 13-3-1 for Errens. It's a tough fight. To me, it just seems that William is just the more explosive guy, obviously, if you can tell. And I think he's fought slightly better competition. And I mean, very minimally. He's training out of the MMA factory with obviously the headliner. To me, it seems as if it's just the right level of competition for him to fight in France. So I think to me it's like a gimme fight, but not like he's gonna knock him the fuck out. To me, William does possess the better power. Jarno's a good enough kickboxer. Not really much to say on this one. I think again it's just a gimme fight for William, but again it's not going to be super easy. It might be 29-28, and then a possible knockout happens. It's easy to say not touching it at all. Like I don't know either of these guys. Watching tape on them wasn't incredibly fun to watch, but again I'll go with William Gomez by decision.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say here. You have to go with the hometown favorite. He's things should be in his favor, including. Hang on one second.
Yeah.
Should be pretty interesting. Should be, like you said, not a gimme fight, but he should win here. Um, Hopefully, what he's learned from Gane is, it's not all about the stand up. I mean, we'll talk about Gane later, but you should be prepared for, an opponent who is mainly a striker to be, to take you down. Shouldn't be that big of a surprise for we'll get into the game later, but
Yeah.
anyway, he should be preparing for something like that just because you never know. Jarno, I don't think he's that big of a wrestler, but if a guy who you expect to take you to the limit on the feet, he takes you down once, it's like, oh, well, what the heck happened there?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But
Yeah, they're both decently well-rounded, but to me, I think William just has that slight edge. And of course, being that it's hometown favorite, if it goes to a decision, he already has it in the bag.
yeah, I don't know about the minus 200.
Oh shit,
I
you're
think
right. My bad. I forgot the odds.
yeah,
So let me read those now. My dumbass. Minus 200 and then plus 163 for Jarno. Why 63? I have no idea, but
yeah, I don't think he's that much better than Jarno. It is a favorable matchup for him. But I think the odds should be closer. I think they should be like almost even, like maybe 120 minus 120 minus what is it?
like plus 100 perhaps.
No, I think it should be like minus 120 minus 110. For them respectively.
Just the unknown variable between these two, like it's really hard to say. To me, neither of them seem better than the other. Just
Yeah,
slightly bit more aggression from William, and Jarno, I guess he doesn't really throw too much, but again, we'll be surprised sometimes with these fights at featherweight 145. And I guess William is a pretty big featherweight. He's 6 foot tall. Fuck, I don't
yeah,
know.
I was gonna say he's like a giant, probably the tallest guy in that division. God, man, 6 feet tall. I was looking at that.
Wait,
So he's gonna
no,
tower over
that
him a
other
little bit.
moron. What's his name? Fucking the alien body who just is he at 145? Yeah, he is 145. What's his fucking face? Recently went to a decision, a draw with. Oh my god.
Are you talking about the Great Khali?
No. That dude that with that really tall dude at featherweight who boxes. I cannot remember his name. He just recently went to a draw with Saldana because Saldana. I don't know if you watched the fight. You were busy, but Saldana basically knocks him out and then he knees him in the head illegally. Dude, we've been talking about this one for too damn much. But yeah, there's that other tall guy. Leave it in the comments. I can't remember his fucking name. It's because he probably fucked a lot of people with that draw.
Stefan's true. All right.
Yeah.
So my pick is Gomis by decision. I don't think either guy is good enough to knock out or submit the other. So I'll stick with Gomis. But yeah, odds. As far as actually betting on it, I would say be very careful with this one. I would say stay away from it. If
Not worth it.
If you can.
Moving on, next bout taking place at featherweight, women's featherweight. We've got a newcomer of, I believe it's Eileen Perez versus Stephanie Egger. The odds themselves very awful. Minus 330 for Egger. Come back on the newcomer Perez plus 255. So from what I can tell about Fiona Allen Perez, I don't know much about her really. Like watching tape on her was rough as well. As you can see here in the picture, she likes to twerk. She's got the Kay Hansen syndrome where she likes to take pictures of herself. Which I'm not hating on it, but I'm like, how dedicated are you to this game? But she's 5'5". She's 7-1. The only loss on her record is because she needs someone illegally, and to me, she's a striker. She's pretty decent on top when it comes to her ground and pound. But again, Stephanie Egger, despite her weird fight with Mayra Bueno Silva, she should be the better fighter here. I think the price tag is justified. I don't like it though. Women's MMA, what did concern me and what kind of gave me I don't know, like a inkling of betting Perez is that her jiu-jitsu's not bad. Like she's able to defend stuff. Like looking at her Instagram, not getting distracted by the booty pics. Like she seems to be training her BJJ. But yeah, I think Stephanie's gonna run a train on her. So I'll go with Eggers by Perez is pretty tough, despite me not really taking her seriously. So I'll say by a decision.
Yeah, here's the thing. Minus 300 for a women's fight. You want to stay, even if Egger is going to win, it is not worth the risk, regardless. of Egger being maybe the better fighter here, which I don't think. Well, I'll say this: she has more experience.
Yeah, I
Um,
would say so. Better competition,
no,
right?
more experience against UFC level competition. Uh, but that alone really doesn't mean much. Considering she's so yeah, so she lost to Myra Bueno Silva, which was no bueno, you know.
Haha.
And yeah, it was a joke. But it's funny, in the previous fight, she won by armbar, and then against Myra, she's like, "Yeah, let me lose by armbar." You know, it's not.
Oh, dude, she tried her damnedest not to lose by armbar. Did you end up
Yeah,
watching that fight or any highlights?
no, I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you real quick. Silva got her in the armbar. Then they were against the cage. Silva lets go of the armbar, saying she tapped, and Stephanie Egger's like keeping her mouth shut, like the ref is like, "Did you tap?" She's like, and
Huh.
they had to go back and rewatch the uh, the replay, and I guess they couldn't really tell. And one of the judges straight up snitched on her, like, "I seen the tap, I seen her tap." I'm like, "You fucking asshole." But yeah, they were about to restart it until the ref, not the ref, I'm sorry, the judge said, like, "I clearly saw the tap."
What a piece of
Yeah,
garbage. That's lame. Sucks for her, but she shouldn't have tapped.
yeah, she shouldn't have fucking.
Yeah. I
She
mean,
she kept her
yeah.
mouth shut though, so I give her props for that. I'm like, she tried to sneak one away.
Yeah, and I mean, she hasn't exactly won against the best of competition either. So, yeah, that minus 350, that's insane. That just, yeah, stay away from this fight. You're gonna regret, you're even if she does win, you're just gonna not feel good about yourself having bet on this particular fight. So, I mean, I'll stick with Edgar as well until Eileen Perez proves herself. You still gotta prove herself against, Phantom Top over here. But yeah, I'll just go with Edgar via decision.
All right, next bout. Taking place at lightweight, we've got Smile Killer Farasiam versus the newcomer Mad Dog Mikhail Figlak. And currently the odds have it in favor of the newcomer Figlak by minus 200 comeback on Ziam. He is a plus 165. So the Frenchman, who is taller with, I'm assuming, a longer reach, is the underdog. And I really do wonder why. Not that, say, for example, Figlak is like an anomaly. He's been fighting in Cage Warriors. He's Polish, him and his brother. Uh, both seem to be pretty well rounded overall, but I do get the odd feeling of like, are we seeing a possible fade spot for the newcomer? And not to say that anyone coming from Cage Warriors is like fadeable, but I do remember when Mason Jones came in, I took a shot on him as a dog coming in undefeated, and he fought not necessarily a middle of the road fighter, a guy who hasn't fought in a long ass time in oh my god, I forgot his name, but the good Muay Thai kickboxing dude, and it didn't look great for him. Is Faraciem at dog money in France a good play? Because Figlak, he's very aggressive. I think he's pretty well rounded, but so is Ziam, and he's going to have the longer everything, right? He's going to be taller. He's going to have the crowd advantage. This one's tough. Like I'm feeling the Figlak fade, but it's really tough to say because he's 8-0, and I don't know if he's fully proven yet. Like part of me, like when I get these feelings, like my mind is telling me Figlak, right? I think he's got a really good chance of winning this fight, but I think it's because I'm thinking he might be able to take him down to the ground and control him. If it's going to be striking, I don't know how well he's going to do with the movement of Ziam, and I just find it funny that he was a favorite against Terrence McKinney, and now he's an underdog against the newcomer in Figlak. Like how high are people on Figlak? I'm not, again, too super familiar with him, but I've seen him fight. He's not all that bad. Definitely can win this fight, but I also think Ziam can win this fight as well. I'm going to take the dog on this one just because I get this odd feeling that he's going to perform. And even if he doesn't, there's always that slight chance of that robbery in France. I don't know, man. I just get this weird feeling. So I'm going to take the dog in Ziam by decision because, Figlak, he's not necessarily a big finisher. He throws a lot of power, but his punches don't seem to be as defined as like the more savvy kickboxer that is Ziam. So I'll take Ziam by decision, but really close in my opinion.
Yeah, it's that thing. This matchup is going to be that thing where, it's like France is a little bit like maybe, fighting in England or Brazil where the judges are going to be like,
oh God, yeah, those fucking Brazilian judges.
Pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty judgmental. No, that's not the word.
That's it.
Very biased.
Very biased, and yeah, paid off is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, this is a big event for Paris, so I wonder
for France in general.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if
real.
I don't know if they would. Well, I mean, for France in general, I don't know if they would go to other cities for smaller events, but Paris is a good place to start. France apparently has a lot, has a lot of boxing and I imagine kickboxing, and now MMA is starting to become popular.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty big. They want to be successful, and if they see, several French fighters winning, right?
Yeah.
Then they're gonna be like, oh, look, Mom, the French fighters that are winning. And then, it's going to inspire kids and others and be like, hey, we can also, fight and win.
Oh, man. Imagine they get an inflated ego and then they invade like Italy or something.
Yeah.
Just for the fuck of it.
Yeah, and then they're both going to talk like that. Like, hey, look, the French are coming. Hey, the French, we are coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going with Frost. It's, he yes, he is the underdog in terms of the bet, but realistically, he has, a little bit more, experience in the UFC, not a ton, and he hasn't exactly won, he doesn't have like these, it's not like he's dominated either.
Mm-hmm.
But usually give him the benefit of the doubt unless the other guy's like so good and he's like, oh man, this guy's the next something or other, and he just, demolishes all, his first fight and so on and so forth. But more often than not, newcomers, their their debuts are overrated, for the most part.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, here I'm just blindly going with Ziam. You don't really know the other guy, how he's going to show up, but he's a hometown guy. You want, Parisians or, Frenchies to do well. So
I thought you meant like Josh Parisian.
Oh yeah,
that works too. It's pretty funny. Oh, God. All right, let's move on. Next fight taking place at lightweight. We've got the no-quit Frenchman himself, the God of War, Benoit Saint-Denis, versus Gabriel Fly Miranda. And Miranda, funny enough, he's also a newcomer. And I kind of like this guy. Like, I like what he brought to the table. When looking at him, I was like, is he French? Because obviously the mustache, but like, no, he's Brazilian. Black belt in jiu-jitsu, pretty good, like overall. But I'll get to it. The odds themselves, -200 for Saint-Denis versus the +150 of Miranda. You know what I just realized, Jose? I don't know. Whenever there's a Hispanic fighter, like I try my damnedest to not say it super Hispanic. But whenever there's a fucking French fighter, I'm like, oh, Benoit Saint-Denis. Fucking go full French GSP. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Gabriel Miranda. But yeah, Miranda's not bad. Like I enjoyed watching his tape. Like he's pretty aggressive. He can slow down though. So there's a chance if you want to maybe take a shot on him by submission. The thing about Benoit Saint-Denis is that he's obviously got his ass beat horribly by God, oh man, by Zaleski. He got his ass beat so bad that they literally got rid of that referee that was refing at night in Abu Dhabi. But it did show that he can take an ass whooping. And on top of that, he fought Nicholas Stoltz. He had a pretty flush knee, if I recall correctly. I was waiting for some pizzas at the time, so I couldn't really pay attention on my phone. But it looked like he had a flush knee, came back and submitted him. In this particular fight, like Miranda can strike, but his jiu-jitsu is where it's at, right? He's going to try to take it to the ground. Is Benoit going to try to strike with him, defend? I think Benoit's very well rounded, but I'm not sold on him as a minus 200 in this spot. If he was fighting a striker, I'd feel more confident in him. Like again, the guy has no quit in him, but I get a feeling he can get caught in a submission. I'm going to take Benoit to win this one, potentially by like maybe a second or third round finish. I'm going to say TKO because I like Miranda. He's training out of MMA Masters. He's got the chops to submit Benoit Saint-Denis. I really believe he can. Like he's very good. His last fight, I believe, was maybe not his last fight. Which fight was it? He got kind of reversed from top position. That's another little concerning thing about him. Like I like his top game, but his bottom game, like he can be controlled a bit by lesser competition, which makes me think Benoit can just get on top and avoid any submissions. But if he does not see something coming, because he can like rip your arm off. He was going for Kimura. I forgot who he was fighting, but he was going for Kimura on bottom, and the referee stood them up. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Anyways, I think he can get stuff from the bottom, but he's not like Charles Oliveira level, but training with MMA Masters. We'll see what happens with this one, but I think Benoit gets it done. I'm going to say second round TKO. Miranda might come in like a ball of fury. Again, very high likelihood he can get a guillotine choke or something. But Benoit's too damn tough. There's no quitting him. So I'll go with him by second round TKO.
Yeah, I'm also going with Benoit, but I'm going I'm going with him just in honor of the other great Benoit, Chris Benoit.
Who is Chris Benoit?
Yeah,
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, he's been, kind of erased from the annals of professional wrestling. Big word for me, annals.
I pronounce it differently.
Yeah. Yeah, in different situations, you might.
Yeah.
But
in Canada, it's pronounced Greek.
Yeah, Chris Benoit, he was a great wrestler. Should I say great father? I guess he was. Great husband, until he wasn't, unfortunately. But he was, like toward the end of his career, he was, one of the more exciting performers, I would say. And so in honor of him, I'm going with Benoit. I don't know if he necessarily, this is another one where I think the odds are a little skewed.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 200, I think, is way too much for this. I think it should be like minus 120, minus 130 at the most. This is another close fight. I don't know why. I don't see why they're trying to skew the odds so much. This isn't like a huge, this isn't going to be like a big betting card. It's not like, there's going to be a ton of money coming in on these fights. So it's a little weird to me as to why they're doing this. But I think Benoit is going to take it, aside from me, just choosing him in honor of Chris. And I think Gabriel is kind of sort of, he's only 32. He has more fights, yes, but he's kind of coming in on the little bit of the older side, and yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. This is prove me wrong sort of fight from Miranda. He has to show up, he has to do well, but more often than not, they don't. So I'll stick with Benoit for now, but also he's the hometown favorite. If it goes to decision, he's probably getting it.
Moving on, next fight. Ooh, boy, this one's a rough one. Middleweight bout: Dustin Stoltzfus versus, this is a toughie, but it is Abus Abusupian Magomedov. This one is fascinating because of the odds for one, and on top of that, like it just kind of disgusts me. Like I didn't want to do any tape watch on this one, but we've got minus 260 on Magomedov, comeback on Dustin Stoltzfus. Oh boy, well, I guess he's listed as the American, but I guess he represents Germany. He's a plus 210. Mm, so I've defended Stoltzfus multiple times. I took him as a dog to beat Dwight Grant. I actually took him as a dog to beat what's his name, Gerald Meerschaert, and he was looking pretty good until he wasn't. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just the power of Dwight Grant that kind of made him look really bad, but he looked really bad his last fight. Like he nearly lost that fight. He got a takedown in round number 2 and round number 3, and he ended up winning that fight. But he was getting lit up on the feet. Nothing too significant, but I just did not like what I saw from Dustin. And on the other side, we've got Magomedov. He hasn't fought in about 2 years. He's the guy who got knocked out by Lewis Taylor in the PFL, and literally he made Lewis Taylor a millionaire in like 30 seconds. He got clipped, dude. It was such an odd. He was a minus 400 against Lewis Taylor. Lewis Taylor was 39 years old at the time. He looked like death, right? Like I mean, physically he looked great, but his eyes, he looked fucking like dude's about to fucking, you know, ascend the heavens. But he clips him with the left hook perfectly on the temple. He like it was a really nice knockout. But I'm like, dude, this guy, and not to say he's not a bad fighter, but like I don't know how this fight's gonna go. Like I really don't. Like Dustin, he's kind of an oddity. Like he either looks pretty decent against certain competition or really bad against other competition. And Magomedov, like he is a Dagestani, right? He came from Dagestan. He's a decent enough wrestler, but he moved to Germany like when he was in his teens, and he did a lot more kickboxing. So he's a decently well-rounded guy, but I don't trust him at minus 260. I think he wins the fight. I'm going to pick him to win the fight. I'll pick him by decision, but something tells me like Stoltzfus can get a sneaky takedown here or there and look better. Like it's a weird feeling, man. Like Dustin is not that great of a fighter. He's got good attributes. I think he's a good spot in certain fights. This one's not a good one because I think Magomed, like the package of Magomed alone tells me he's going to win the fight. But being away for almost 2 years, is he going to be suffering from ring rust? Is he going to have bad timing? I don't know, man. Like he looked like he was in good shape. It's just too many question marks on this one. Like I don't feel comfortable betting it. I don't like it. Like I would be comfortable missing this one. Like if I had to run an errand real quick, I would go and like fucking do something else. Usually I don't say that about men's MMA fights, but this one is just I hate to be an asshole really. Like we dick around a lot, but like for real, this one I am not looking forward to. So I'll go with Nagomedov by decision.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I don't blame you. Like going with Magomedov. It's no, it's Makachev. Never mind. Um, yeah, I mean this is kind of a coin flip, but yeah, this is even if you do, this is another one where even if you do pick correctly, this isn't something you should bet on. The odds here are crazy. They're in the 200s for each of these guys, and the fight's a lot closer than that. Um, yeah, here I have to go with the favorite again, not because of the odds, but just because he's more likely to win. But as far as betting, this is not looking like a great betting card. You
Mm.
know, in terms of me saying, yeah, pick this guy, pick that guy. It's it's high risk, low reward.
Mm.
It's not, it's not like high risk, high reward. You're not going to get a ton unless you manage to pick, do a 12 parlay card, bet $100 and win, whatever. It's still not going to be a lot, given that a lot of these are like minus 200 and whatnot. Yeah, so that's, that's kind of lame on the part of, the entities that, make up the odds because they're made up. That's what they are. It's not like, that's the absolute. Those are the absolute odds. They're just inflating them for some reason, one reason or another. Yeah, but Abu Sufyan is the way to go here. I'll take him by decision.
It's really funny. I can't pronounce his name, but I was able to spell it no problem when I was
Yeah.
looking him up. It was strange. But yeah, next bout also at middleweight. Let me change this over. A fight I'm actually looking forward to seeing. This is probably what my most anticipated fight of that night. We've got Nasruddin Imavov versus New Manta Joaquin Buckley, aka the anti-Tyron Woodley. And currently the odds have it in favor of Imavov, who is a minus 250 comeback on Buckley is a plus 210. And I call him the anti-Tyron Woodley because Tyron Woodley usually doesn't throw many strikes. Buckley throws all the fucking strikes. He's always moving forward. He's always landing or throwing something. One of my favorite fighters to watch. And is he going to pull off another decent upset here? He did me a favor by beating the crap out of Duraev. Like I picked Duraev to win, but I actually put money on Buckley. I hedged it because I don't like Duraev and I really like Buckley, and he did us a service. I put him by TKO, and that doctor stoppage was fantastic. He swelled his eyes shut. And then watching that back recently, I'm like, man, I really overinflated his performance against Duraev. Like his takedown defense looked fantastic. He was able to get back up even after getting taken down. Like he's improving a lot. There's too many damn openings for him to get countered, and that's what really like it bummed me out. I'm like, am I going to take Buckley again as a dog to win this fight, possibly by knockout? Because Nasruddin's been cracked before. He's been cracked by what's his name, Jordan Williams. Funny enough, Jordan Williams nearly beat Nasruddin Imavov, but ever since his last two fights, he's been on a really good roll. He nearly beat Phil Haas as well. Like in that third round, he put it on him, and he's called the Russian Russian sniper for a reason. But I do wonder if he's going to change it to the frou frou French striker for this fight night here. He's training out of the MMA factory. But yeah, I like Imavov. Like here's kind of where I'm going with. I'm going to take Imavov by, and I hate to say it because I like Buckley a lot, and I really do think if he puts his combinations together and if he kind of walks down Imavov and lands with all the power, right, I think he can put him out. But the thing that really bummed me out watching Buckley fight Duraev again is that like he leaves too many openings. Like he's kind of stopped dipping his head like he did against Chirico, which got him cracked with a head kick, but he's still there to get hit with the head kick. And Imavov being the taller guy, he's 6'3" compared to the 5'10" of Buckley. Funny enough, he has a he has a 1 inch reach disadvantage with Buckley. 76 for Buckley, 75 for Imavov. I just think that Imavov is going to find his strikes a lot easier. He doesn't put a whole ton of power into them. Buckley loads up a lot, which is one of the reasons why I love watching this guy fight. Like he throws everything. He is the MMA Mike Tyson, just not as clean with the strikes or as fast, but he's so fucking fun to watch. But I think Imavov cracks him with something. Like I think he finds a nice counter, sits him on his butt, maybe finishes him in the second round or so. But I'm thinking a head kick. I think Imavov's going to land a head kick and put him out and finish him with strikes. But again, I do think Buckley might be live because he is ever improving. It's just, again, he has those openings there. And I think he looked decent against Duraev because Duraev's striking's kind of sucky. But even Duraev landed a pretty decent kick on him. So I'll go with Nasruddin to win this one by, I'm going to say maybe a second round TKO. But yeah, Buckley's always live in my book to get a knockout.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'll take him in the first round now. First round TKO. Um, I think Buckley's gonna want to come out fast here, and yeah, I don't think his patented, catch my kick, do the, Jeff Hardy, the Jeff Hardy catch my kick, spinning kick, whatever, is gonna work here, just because Imavov is a little bit too tall. I think 5 inches, and I know 5 inches doesn't seem like a lot, but yeah, it's not what she said. It it yeah, I think he's gonna tower over him, and it's gonna be Imavov is the white. What's that guy's name? Um, Shit, his name escapes me. Hang on.
I do
He's the
find
white,
I find it
not Alessio
hilarious.
Di Chirico.
I find it funny that we
Kevin Holland.
Kevin Holland. Yeah, that's another thing I was going to bring up, but I forgot. Kevin Holland really showed a
Yeah,
good implementation of long range strikes to kind of
yeah,
thwart Buckley, because Buckley was moving in and then he just kind of got getting cracked. So I think you're pretty spot on with that. I think he's going to follow up. But I was going to say that one tall featherweight that I could not remember, Sean fucking Woodson. He's the guy
Oh, okay.
that I'm like, damn, why do we get on here and like we forget everyone's name? I'm like that girl who fights at strawweight, who's the champion. What's her name?
Yeah,
Richie Valentina something or other. Yeah, it's fucking
it just
annoying.
happens.
It
Just
just
happens,
pisses me
man.
off, man. It makes me sound like I'm a moron. I'm like, I know these fighters' names, but
Well, it's just one of those things where the more MMA information you pump in, you're also pumping out some other information, so you have to kind of recall it.
like that episode from not King of the Hill, Married with Children.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, something like that. But yeah,
yeah.
I think we've already seen this fight before, and yeah, it's funny every time I see Imavov's kind of profile pic. I always think like, oh, poor guy, he has a hearing aid. He has to fight with a hearing aid. Yeah, but
That's just a cool way to put your mouth guard.
yeah, I guess so.
A funny story about that. It just reminded me. When I used to train locally, I got out of doing jujitsu, and we had to wear a mouth guard because a lot of untrained guys do a lot of stupid shit. So I leave. I had just taken a picture with like Diego Brandao because he was there. Super interesting character. And don't ask me why, but me and then girlfriend, we go to like a yogurt land, and I put my mouth guard in my ear because I wanted to look super cool. Like that's
Yeah,
what what's his name, Dan Hardy would do as well. And I'm like, I'm gonna look super cool. People are gonna ask me if I train, and I'll be, yes, I do.
that's hilarious.
Yeah. But before we get started with the main card, I forgot I used to do these things. Let me add you into this. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. That's all I got. Let's continue with the main card. Interesting opener. We've got another debutante in the main card. This is about at bantamweight. We've got the return of Khalid Taha versus Christian Problema Quinonez. Man, let's see what the odds are on this one. I have not looked at these, so I am going to be shocked. I'm not seeing them. I guess they're not. Wait, here we go. So Taha, interestingly enough, he's a minus 145 favorite, and Quinonez is a plus 125 dog. The reason I say interesting because Tapology has it that Quinonez is going to win this one 78% to 22%. And it's funny that I'm wearing a Dare shirt because of Khalid Taha. One of my talking points about him is that like I like Taha, right? I like what he brings to the table, but he has not looked the same since he got popped for the roids. Ugh. And is it too like is it too much to think about? Like is he just not on the sauce anymore? He looks in great shape, but he lost to Ione Barcelos, which I'm not going to blame him for that. I mean, at that time, 2 years ago, Ione was fantastic. I mean, he missed his prime, but damn, it just sucks that Barcelos never got to the title. And then he Lost to Morozov, a spot where I actually thought Morozov was live, and he just kind of grapple fucked him. And Quinonez, the thing about him, like he's going to be the younger guy. He's going to be the taller guy by 2 inches. He's going to have a 1 inch reach advantage. He doesn't bring too much to the table in the threat department. Like Khalid Taha hits really hard. I think his overall game is it's more fascinating to me than Quinones. Quinones is more or less like a long, rangy striker, and he's got like that more of a boxing approach. He's not a great boxer. He's just more of a long range striker. He throws kicks pretty decently. Good gas tank. He moves forward a lot. Like he's just okay. There's a good chance he can beat Taha just because of his physical attributes, but I don't necessarily think he's a better fighter overall because Taha, like, despite it getting overturned, he did submit Bruno Silva. So, like, he's got that kind of game. I trust him to be okay on the ground if it gets there. I can actually see him taking it to the ground. He's been training with Khabib at certain points. So, I know this guy really needs a win, but I'm just so concerned that the game of Quinones is going to lead him to get the victory. At plus money, it's tempting, right? But Quinones is, again, he's very untested. He's 16-3. He's beaten some decent people, decent records, but no real person of note that I could see. I'm just not certain on this one because, like, Taha's going to have the power advantage, but Quinones is going to have the reach advantage, and to me, I think he's going to have the output advantage. So I'm very split on this one because if Taha's coming in here in shape, and he absolutely is, and he comes in here knowing that he can get cut, literally they're cutting a shit ton of people now, even though he's an exciting fighter in my eyes. He's 29 years old. I think I'm expecting better things from Taha right now. Like I'm tentative to pick him because I think Quinones, he's easily got a way to victory here. Like incredibly easily, staying on the outside, avoiding anything big and powerful from Taha. Although I did see Taha like really training his body shots, which would be really smart here against a taller fighter because the body shots are going to be there and the overhands are going to be there. Like this one, like I really spent a good amount of time thinking this one over because, like, yeah, I even see Taha going for a takedown and getting him down. Quinones' takedown defense isn't too bad either. Like he trains out of Entrim Gym, so although Moreno's not there anymore, like they still have a decent group of people there. Ooh, this one's tough, man. I am very curious as to what people think on this one because, like, Quinones, he's a fucking debutant. I'm gonna go with Taha. I'm gonna say he's gonna knock him out. I'm just gonna go for it. Like I'm not uber confident in it, but I think because he absolutely needs a win here, I think he's gonna do it. Oh, man, give it his all to get the win, and no better way to erase what's happened in the past than getting a vicious knockout over a tough Mexican dude. So I'll go with Taha by I'm gonna say a second round TKO.
I'm gonna go with Quinones here, just because Taha isn't exactly the hometown guy. So I don't know if they're gonna, if it goes to decision, I don't think they're gonna give it to him. Just like that, even though he's fighting out of Germany.
Well, think of it this way, dude. The Mexicans did beat the French, so got to keep that in mind. Maybe they're still
Uh,
harboring some horrible thoughts about the Mexicans. Like, fuck these
uh,
guys. They're not going to win here. They're not coming to our
maybe.
turf and winning.
Yeah, it's a possibility. But I
No,
think,
it's a guarantee. I guarantee it.
no, but I think, I don't know. I'm just going with Quinones here, just because the other guy isn't really the hometown guy per se. He's a little bit younger. Wait, where's the height?
It's five
Yeah,
foot five, 5'7".
yeah. It's like, Hornswoggle versus Willow here. It's pretty.
It fucking took me a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with this one. Like, it's to me, I'm gonna feel really dumb the moment Quinonez is gonna be like avoiding any of those wild punches from Taha. So I think you might be on the right side here, but I'm just going with like this odd hunch that I'm gonna go with Taha.
Yeah, no, I'm going with that weird hunch, that just sometimes you just have a weird feeling that, I don't know. I'm just going with that, even though here it's, I think the odds are finally, I think they should be even closer.
I
140, I don't know.
actually agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it should be a lot closer. I think Taha has the name value, but like again,
yeah,
Quinones, he's not all that great. Like I can see him getting his ass beat later down the line, but with Taha being the shorter guy and the way Quinones moves in there, like again, he's a tough Mexican boxing style. Like he's got some good combinations, but his boxing's not uber impressive. He just has a lot of output, but
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just going with Quinones because this is plus 120 isn't great odds, but it's the first, actual, you know, close to what it should be odds, and yeah, so finally got one right.
All right, let's move on. Featherweight bout. We've got Charles Jourdain versus Nathaniel Wood. Holy shit, this is going to be a great fight. Like, we've got not necessarily the hometown boy, but he is a French Canadian. So, as you know, they are the best Canadians. But the odds currently have it in favor of Charles Jourdain, or as they call it in French, Charles Jourdain versus Nathaniel the Prospect Wood. Minus 135 for Jourdain, plus 115 for Wood. These are really fucking close odds, and I really don't know why. Like to me, Charles Jourdain's gonna win this one. He's got the more aggression. I think he's got some great versatility. His ground game's gotten better. I mean, to me, this is a really tough fight from Nathaniel Wood, and it just really shows the balls on Nathaniel Wood moving up from bantamweight, where he fought Erosa, not Julian Erosa. He fought Charles Rosa and beat the shit out of him. Really, just beat the shit out of him in his hometown. And now he's fighting Charles Jourdain. That's a tough fight. You can't go from decisioning Charles Rosa and Charles Rosa having some decent moments against you to Charles Jourdain. I don't know why the odds are so low on Charles Jourdain, so I'm going to be taking Charles Jourdain by finish, man. I like the way he came after Shane Burgos was absolutely terrifying. Like he was beating the crap out of him in that third round, which I think that's a reason why he decided to not sign with the PFL or the UFC and go to PFL. He's like, I can't deal with this shit anymore. I never want to fight this guy again. But it's going to be a great fight. Like, of course, Nathaniel Wood's a great striker at 135. Honestly, at 145, I don't know if he's going to have the power advantage or like his great attribute is that low calf kick. Those kicks he's going to be landing, man. But Charles Jourdain, he just has to check him, and I think he's smart enough to do that. Like this fucking guy will check him in midair. Like he'll jump in the air and check a kick. So I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain. I actually think he's going to finish Nathaniel Wood. I'm going to say round number. The thing about Charles Jourdain, he doesn't get started. He's very much like Cheeto Vera. He kind of waits a little bit. So I'm going to say round number 2, he knocks out Nathaniel Wood. If Nathaniel Wood can win this fight, not by like taking any, like, I don't even think he's going to be able to take the back of Charles Jourdain and like ride it out. I just think it's a really tough fight for Nathaniel Wood, despite him looking great his last fight. Looked fantastic, but he didn't look flawless against a guy like Rosa. And if you're not flawless with his type of style, if you know what I'm saying, like he doesn't possess a whole ton of power. Granted, yes, he can crack. I mean, anyone can knock anyone out, just have to hit him in the right spot. Perfectly placed knee, very Demetrius Johnson-esque, which, by the way, did you end up seeing any highlights of DJ knocking out Moraes?
I just saw a thing of like the last few seconds of the knee and
Ooh, dude,
like the knee combo.
it was fantastic. I'm like, he walked away like nope, he's done. I'm like, ooh, it was savage. But yeah, if Nathaniel Wood, anyone can land a knee and knock the other guy out. So for that reason, I'm going with Charles Jourdain because he likes to throw flying knees. So I'll go round number 2, Charles Jourdain.
Yeah, let me see. The only thing I have to say, let me see, was it Nathaniel Wood that let me down that one time? Let me go back. All right, here we go. Casey Kenny. It was either, I think he let me down against Casey Kenny and or John Dodson way back. No. Was it Casey Kenny? I think it was maybe Casey Kenny that he let me down. And then, Charles Rosa wasn't that great of a fight. But he is doing a quick turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't completely count him out. But then again, Jourdain, I think he should be a slightly bigger favorite.
Yeah.
So I think actually this is a pretty good deal to bet on Charles Jourdain, because the odds are so low. You don't want him to get like two. I think realistically the odds should be like minus 200 plus.
Mm-hmm.
But since they're so low, it's like, this would actually be something to jump on. So I'm going with Errens, and probably by decision, I would say.
Yeah, man, that height advantage itself. It's a 5'9" for Jourdain and 5'6" for Nathaniel Wood. Ooh, the head kicks are going to be prevalent there. Oh man, I hate to put it to you this way, but like Jourdain's got more power, and Nathaniel Wood, he's very technical with his boxing. Like he's a fantastic striker, but I just don't see him hurting Charles Jourdain. Like the way he moved forward against one of my favorite fighters in Shane Burgos was like, holy shit, this guy's a goddamn destroyer. So when I saw minus 135, I'm like, what am I missing here? Like what's going on? So maybe watch Nathaniel Wood edge out the decision on this one, but interesting fight. I'm excited for this one for real. All right, moving on. Taking place at lightweight, we've got our next bout, Nasrat Haqparast versus John Makdessi. And for this one, very odd fight, but I like it. Minus 200 for the Afghani in Haqparast, which is another name that I can actually spell quite easily. I don't know how. And John Makdessi comes back at a plus 170. So the Canadian versus the Afghani. John Makdessi is not French Canadian, so I expect him to lose. It's crazy to think that Makdessi is still fighting. I remember when he came into the UFC and he had a decent amount of hype behind him. I know he had gotten like a spinning back fist in his debut, if I recall correctly. And then Dennis Hallman just took his ass down in his next bout and just fucked him up. And ever since then, I'm like, yeah, I don't know why. Like, just hearing the hype behind John Makdessi kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So when Dennis Hallman just beat his ass, I was like, and for Haqparast, aka, fuck, I'm kind of tired of the joke already. Like when we bring it up every time, but he looks like Kelvin Gastelum. Kind of fights a little like Kelvin Gastelum, except that his nipples are funky. I think he's a rifle favorite here. 10 years younger than John Makdessi. John Makdessi, what's crazy is that he had a really good fight against Ignacio Bahamondes in a fight that I thought Bahamondes was just going to run through John Makdessi, but he didn't. He did not run through him. John Makdessi really gave him, as they call it, the vet lesson. Shout out to Best Fight Picks. But yeah, like Bahamondes looked pretty shit, and I don't know if it was because Bahamondes looked like shit or John Makdessi made him look like shit. That was a year and some time ago. Haqparast, despite him kind of looking bad against Bobby Green, that's against Bobby Green. I fully expect Haqparast come in here and, he's taken his lumps. He's had it rough because his mom recently passed away within the last few years, and that could be really rough, especially like taking a fight that same week against Dan Hooker, which like the balls on that guy, like the odds I don't like so much because John Makdessi is still a very dangerous guy despite him being 37 years old. I do see the left hand landing on Makdessi, Nasrat's left hand. So I'm going to go with Nasrat to win this one. as I like to put it, like when you're on a 2-fight losing streak, you have to win, and you've got two options in my eyes. If you have to win a fight, either you're going to pussyfoot around and edge out a decision and be very uneventful, and then just guarantee you will win, possibly try to like grapple and be very boring, or you can get a knockout. If you get a knockout or something spectacular, to me, it always erases the past. Like you're fresh eyes. You just got a great knockout. You got a great finish. And if he finishes John Makdessi, which I expect him to do, all is forgiven. So, new beginnings, 27 years old. I'll go with Nasrat by a first round TKO.
Yeah, I'm also going with skinnier Afghani. Shit, we just said his name.
Kelvin.
Kelvin, yes, Kelvin. Man, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like all over the place today. Yeah, so I'm going with skinny Afghani Kelvin, even though, his last two fights haven't been great. John Makdessi just reminds me of, what was that other guy? I remember that one time we were in Vegas, and you're like, yeah, man, this guy's been in jail. What was it, Mad Dog?
Oh, yeah, Reza Madadi.
Yeah, you're like, man, this guy's been in jail, so he's, they toughened him up, and he's about to, and
Oh shit! Who did he fight? He fought. Oh, he fought Norman Park, and I'm like, yeah, he's gonna fuck up Norman Park. And then, because we were watching the fight on my computer because they weren't playing it. It was like it wasn't England. It was a Italy fight. No, god damn it, not Italy. Oh my god, Ireland fight. That's when Louis Smoka fought Paddy O'Houlihan or whatever the fuck his name was.
yeah,
Paddy the Hooligan Houlihan. There you go. Yeah, I remember that. And then Reza just gets fucking demolished by Norman Park.
yeah. It's yeah. So he kind of reminds me of Reza a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going with the skinny Afghani Kelvin here. I think the odds are somewhat spot on, -200. Um, yeah, Makdessi's. I don't know what he's still doing in the UFC, to be honest.
I mean,
But he's still there. I think he's going to write out his contract, and I think that's probably going to be it for him.
yeah, like he doesn't have much time left. Like, trains out of a good gym in TriStar. Well, I guess what the
Yeah.
fuck? I just realized that they're both allegedly training at TriStar, so maybe I didn't pay too much attention. That's how much I don't care about this particular fight. Like, to me, John Makdessi, I really faded the shit out of him against Bahamundes. I'm like, Bahamundes is an experienced striker, much longer, and he beat his ass, and I'm like, how, man? How? And then Bahamundes, I don't know what it was, like whether Bahamundes was just like he had the jitters or whatever, but ever since then, Bahamundes, I keep saying his fucking name and it's annoying me. He's been looking great. But let's move on to the next fight. And dear God, am I not excited about this one? We've got Alessio Di Chirico versus Roman Kopylov. Oh my God, at middleweight, this is the number one contender fight for Alex Pereira's title. But God, Roman Kopylov versus Alessio Di Chirico. The odds are near even, -115 Di Chirico, Kopylov -105, Russian versus Italy. And I don't want to spend too much time on this one. Neither guy is trustworthy. Di Chirico, he can definitely grind you out, but man, I think at 32, it's not to say that he's old, but he's just not it, man. He doesn't have it. I just don't think he's UFC caliber. Like he was very close to getting cut by the UFC, but he exploited Joaquin Buckley's, ducking of his head and caught him with a head kick, which props for him. He got a new contract and stuff. But then Razak Al Hassan returns the favor. And as I brought up before, where was I when I saw Abdul Razak Al Hassan knock out Alessio Di Chirico? I was in the restroom of that barbecue place in San Diego. So I'm like on my phone watching this fight after like eating copious amounts of barbecue. So I will never forget where I was when I saw that head kick. Like I think you were in the stall next to me. I'm like, hey, dude, he knocked him out in the first round with a head kick. And like, I hate talking to people in the restroom, but I'm like, he knocked him out. He knocked him out in the first round. Yeah, I got Roman Kopylov. I think he's just
I
slightly
remember
better.
that. That was funny.
Yeah. Ew, we were dying, dude. We had to find a restroom, so we had to go back to the barbecue spot where we had
Yeah.
left an hour earlier. It was embarrassing, but like we just sneaked in and no one said anything, and then we, shit, yeah, Roman Kopylov. I just think he's, God, man, I had high hopes for the guy. I'm like, I think he can beat Duraev. Ugh. But yeah, I'll go with Kopylov. To me, the reason I'm going with him, I think he's just a better striker. He's a little faster, and he definitely, absolutely, positively, 100% needs this win. And there's no real logic. I'm just going with the Russian. I think he wins this one. Oh, I would normally not say by knockout, right? Because the Chirico's he's pretty solid, right? He had not been knocked out in the UFC prior to that. I know he got dropped by Zach Cummings and in that final round where he was like egging him on, and then Zach Cummings drops you with, I think, funny enough, a knee, if I am remembering correctly. But 11 months ago, that's good enough for him to recover. I'm going to go with Kopylov by a decision. I think he's just going to kicky boy his way into a decision.
Yeah, I think Alessio Di Chirico, besides sort of looking like what's his name, the famous soccer player.
Oh yeah,
Shit, his name escapes me. Is Ronaldo,
yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo,
Mm-hmm.
sort of looking like him a little bit. He always reminds me. I was like, oh, I didn't know Cristiano Ronaldo fought. Um, yeah, he definitely lucked out. Against I was gonna say Woodley again. Um, against shit,
Buckley.
yeah, against Buckley.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he got kind of a second chance in the UFC. But that's I think that's as far as he goes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think yeah, I think this is Roman's fight. Besides, you know he's Italian and he's fighting in France, and they're probably going to be like, let's give it to the other guy. If it goes to decision, I think they're gonna sock. They're gonna sock it to Italy.
Shit,
Not man.
just to cut you off, I do remember, I forgot who had said this. So I'm not taking credit for it, but there was someone who said something along the lines of there's been a lot of goofy decisions against Russian fighters because of you know what.
Mm,
So I guess interesting. I still think Roman. I think he's just gonna win. Period. Like I'm willing to put money on Roman as a near. Like he's not a dog, but he's still like near plus money at least for right
mm.
now. It's gonna be a sloppy affair, but I think he wins it. But yeah, maybe if it goes to a decision, it could be interesting if that theory is correct of Russian fighters getting the you know shit end of the stick when it comes to what's going on in the world.
Yeah. No, I think Roman's going to take it here. I mean, he has less fights, yes, but Alessio, I don't know how, even before Buckley, I don't know how he got that far in the UFC. But as of right now, I think he's just going to, he's probably going to get exposed his last few fights, however many more he has in his contract, and just ride it out.
All right. Next bout, co-main event of the evening. We've got Robert the Reaper Whittaker versus the Italian Dream Marvin Vettori. And the odds are in favor of Whittaker minus 230. Come back on Vettori is a plus 195. I'm going to just flat out, I just spit all over myself. I'm just going to flat out and say it. I think I'm going to take Marvin Vettori, like that betting line, plus 195. This should be a lot closer in my eyes. I think Whittaker. I'm picking Whittaker to win this one based off of what I'm assuming the public and what the bookies are thinking as well. Former champion, just you can say it. Like I might have to go back and like judge that fight myself, but I thought he beat Adesanya that second fight, but I'm not going to die on that hill. But obviously, the better striker than Vittori, but Vittori's not a scrub in the striking either. Like he's definitely gotten better. To me,
Yeah.
his chin is better. He's got a big fucking what they call the blockhead, as Adesanya put it. Uh, this one's interesting. Like there could be a really good spot here for people taking Vettori. Like he uses his grappling and edges out a very, very interesting decision. Like I remember watching Vettori fight in I forgot the name of that promotion, that Italian promotion, but I remember watching him fight there and coming into the UFC, beating Brazilians, submitting Brazilians. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm gonna follow him. And he's been pretty overall impressive. Like you saw him as just like a possible contender, and now this dude can definitely challenge for the title again. The way he kind of handled a bloated Paulo Costa, and dude, I am loving Paulo Costa. Like he is becoming one of my absolute favorite fighters. Not because he's a good fighter or anything, he is, but his Twitter game is out of control. I fucking love this guy. And for Whittaker, he's been on top for a very long time. He moved up from middleweight, and there's always like a spot where I'm like, is this the time that a non-title challenger, or what am I trying to say? He doesn't necessarily lose too many non-title fights, right? Like he looks pretty good against people not named Adesanya. And is that the only guy who's beaten him at middleweight? Yeah, it is. It's actually so. It's a very interesting fight. To me, though, damn, I don't know. Like, I think like I initially said Whittaker, right? I picked him to win this one, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna go with Marvin Vettori to win this one. At those odds, it's really, really hard not to go with him. Fuck. It's a fascinating fight. Like my thing is, if Robert Whittaker wins this fight, I think he's gonna have to knock out Marvin. Marvin's like a little pit bull, man. Like he'll go forward. He doesn't seem to care if he can get Robert Whittaker down. And I know Robert Whittaker, he's been definitely training his takedown defense. It looked fantastic against Gastelum, but training at King's MMA, Gastelum's fought Whittaker, fill him in on stuff. But damn, like I get this weird feeling that maybe Whittaker is definitely, even at 31, he's slowing down. And to me, Marvin Vettori can really open a lot of people's eyes, because this could have been a title fight. This definitely could have been a fight for the title had a certain person not been born, or if he didn't move to New Zealand. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna go with Marvin Vettori. Like he just possesses a lot of X factors, right? Like his grappling, right? If he can get Whittaker down consistently, definitely if, I think he can easily win this fight. And if it stays on the feet, I think he can hang with Whittaker. Whittaker obviously has the kicks. He's got great movement, but Vettori's just like a relentless little pit bull. Like he just has that like grinding. I don't know, man. Like I think he deserves a better nickname than the Italian Dream. Like I think something like a pit bull for real suits him pretty well. Like he goes forward. The way he stood with Paulo Costa was like, damn, that's very impressive. He was beating him to the punch in certain occasions. But I am worried that if like Robert Whittaker throws one of his like fantastic combinations that ends with a head kick, it could put Marvin lights out. So this is a fantastic fight. I'm like super looking forward to it, more so than the main event. I'm gonna take that shot. Like initially I was like, yeah, I think Robert Whittaker wins this one. And I didn't want to get too caught up with the odds, but I do believe that Marvin has a really good shot at beating Robert Whittaker now. This was a year ago, really tough, but I think Marvin, he's leveling up. And I think this is a really good spot as a dog for him to actually open up a lot of eyes and maybe even get a second shot at the title. Because call me fucking crazy, I do think Marvin possesses a lot of the tools needed to beat our future Lord and Savior middleweight champion, Alex Pereira. Like he's got a good chin, but then again, doesn't really take much from Pereira. But if he can get it to the ground, I think I would really like this fight. I'm going with Vettori, and I do think if he beats Robert, and if what I said happens, and Pereira knocks the fuck out of Adesanya, I think Marvin Vettori might be next again. So, I got shivers thinking about this fight. But yeah, I'll go with Vettori by a decision. I'm very fascinated by this fight. I could be hell fucking wrong, but I'm taking a shot on him. What do you think on this one?
I'm going with Whittaker here. I don't think Vettori is the one that's really in the middleweight division. We've got a Volkanovski Holloway thing going. Where funny enough, Israel is Volkanovski and Whittaker is Holloway. Yeah, I don't really see Whittaker beating Israel anytime soon. But I think he's going to beat the rest of the division. And until, Israel either retires or decides to move up in weight, to, challenge all the light heavyweights and such and supposedly go to heavyweight, we're going to have that dance. It's like, how many times is Whittaker going to fight Israel? Is he going to fight him once a year for the title? What the hell's going to go on there? It's like either Whittaker or Israel has to move up to, for this division to make any sense, and to, let's see, what are the contenders looking like? Yeah, man, it's like I see Whittaker winning here, and then it's like, dude, Israel's already beat the shit out of everybody. He already beat Whittaker. He just beat Cannonier. He's fighting Pereira next. I mean, the only thing, realistically, we're looking at Pereira being the division savior in a sense, because if he beats Adesanya, then it opens him up to fight the rest of the division, right? And it'll make the division sort of exciting again, just like how Leon just won last week. And I was talking about this with somebody. I was talking with somebody about this at work, and I said, Leon winning the division, winning the championship, makes the division exciting again because of all the matchups. I named Masvidal in this. He's like, well, Masvidal's not really good. I'm like, that's not the point. It just makes the match. It just makes the fight with Masvidal, like a big money fight for Leon, right? I was looking at it that way.
That's fucking hilarious.
Like, not because Masvidal's good, because I've never thought he was good.
Masvidal's not good. That's not the point.
Yeah,
that's fucking funny.
It's just more, it's like Leon headlining, going up against Colby, Masvidal, who else? The rest of the guys in that division. It just makes those matchups exciting, right? But I told him I think more likely than not they're going to give what's his face the rematch.
Man.
Yeah, I hope they don't. I hope he has to fight once or twice to get back to the title. Because Leon being champ, that like I said, to me that makes the division much more exciting. Some pretty good matchups on the horizon. And yeah, so I think right now I'm looking at Pereira as the division savior in a sense, because Pereira versus Whittaker, Pereira versus Cannonier versus Brunson versus Vettori, Strickland, Hermanson.
Why would you do that to Brunson?
You know what I mean?
Like, he's only got like 2 brain cells left. And
well, what if Till goes on a little bit of a streak and it's Till versus Pereira for the title, right? It just makes the division that much more exciting, if Israel's out of the picture, unfortunately. So I think it's time for Israel to move up in weight, not just go up in weight, but put on some weight and work on his takedown defense. Because if he goes up against Glover, dude, this guy stands zero chance against Glover.
I would give Izzy a shit ton of credit if he goes up and he fights Jiri. Like, let's just say if he ends up winning his bout against Pereira and he becomes like D1 Israel Adesanya, and then he moves up and fights Jiri, I'd give him some props here. Like, that is as much as I have my criticisms of Jiri, like, that's still a very dangerous opponent. And if you just beat a guy like Pereira, like, I guess it would give me, if I was him, it'd give me the confidence, like, oh yeah, if I just beat one of the best kickboxers in the world with the fucking death touch, and I mean, it's beyond the death touch. It like, dude, it's gonna sound crazy, but like I saw something I've never thought I would ever see, and I saw Sean Strickland being the voice of reason in a Twitter video. I'm like, what the fuck did Pereira do to this boy? He changed him completely. But yeah, if I was Izzy, and I'm like, I just beat the guy who was like gonna kill me in MMA, and I'll fucking go up and fight the killer that is Jiri Prochaska. The fucking that guy, man. He is a meme
why not?
maker.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? But yeah, here I'm sticking with Whittaker. I think, aside from, Adesanya aside, I think he's the Max Holloway of this division. And I think, it would be, it would be interesting to see him go up against Pereira and a few other guys that he's yet to fight. But yeah, like Israel, he's beat everybody except Israel. Yeah, and I don't think. Let's see, Vettori. Yeah, man, dude, Whittaker's only 31. Like in my mind, he's already like 40. Because he's been around for so long and he's fought so much. But yeah, he's still a pretty young guy, like Vettori. Even though Vettori looks like he's been around, since the days of Sauron. But yeah, I think they're. Yeah, man, I'm sticking with Whittaker here for a decision. I don't think he's going to finish him.
All right, moving on to the main event. Cyril Bongamin Gane versus Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa. I was dreading the odds. I had not seen them, but Jesus. Suck me blue. They are minus 550 for Cyril Gane. Come back on Tai Tuivasa as a plus 400. Who out there is taking a shot on Tuivasa by knockout? Like, balls on these people. Like, it's very likely it's heavyweight, despite who it is. Bongamin is a fantastic fighter. There's always a chance that knockout can happen at heavyweight. But I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. I think the odds, as much as I hate to say it, I think they're pretty accurate. Bongamin just went toe-to-toe with Francis Ngannou, the killer of killers, the heavyweight champion, and didn't really get touched cleanly. To me, he... Don't quote me on this as like law, but I thought he won the fight against Francis, but because of him going for a heel hook, like he himself lost that fight on his own accord. Like at that point, like idiotic move. Tai Tuivasa, on the other hand, fantastic winning streak so far, knockout after knockout after knockout. Derek Lewis being the last one. Now, I did not expect him to knock out Derek Lewis. I thought Derek Lewis was going to mess him up, and he did the reverse Uno card and ended up knocking him out in his hometown. Is he going to do the same here to Bongamin in his hometown? I don't think so. I think Cyril Gane is still one of the best heavyweights on planet Earth. Fantastic athlete. Really nice overall guy. A super cool dude. I haven't met the guy, but like watching his interviews, he just seems like that type of guy that would like, invite you for what do the French eat? A croissant and some good cafe. Damn, it just sucks. Like I'll give Tai Tuivasa credit. Like he's going into enemy territory and fighting shit. This close to being the heavyweight champion of the world, the former interim champion. And yeah, I got Cyril Gane to win this one. I don't know if he's gonna finish. He should finish him, right? Like he's fighting in his home country, in his hometown. He should finish Tai Tuivasa, being that it's a 5-round fight. The only way I really see Tai Tuivasa winning this one, and I do think he's going to wrestle. I think Tai Tuivasa will wrestle, at least try to. Like, he's definitely something that he's been working on in the past. His wrestling in the past was garbage, man. Sakai was able to beat his ass. So I'm going to go with Cyril Gane. He's going to just wash, rinse, repeat as he usually does, stay on the outside, throw kicks, and eventually I think he finds maybe a nice body shot that's going to hurt Bam Bam. He's going to finish him up against the cage, just similar to how he did against Derek Lewis. but I will say it'll be in the later rounds, like 4 or 5. If you can get that prop 4 or 5 or decision, I think that's probably the best option. But I'll go with Cyril Gane, round number 4 TKO.
I'm gonna stick with Ty. Um, um, you know,
Wow.
he's a very exciting fighter. Um, I'm very disappointed with Cyril. I expect him to be the champ, but just like a big P, he got F'd in the A. You know, against what's his face? What the
Francois Ngannou.
hell? Yes, Francois. Um, yeah, man, that was a pretty lame fight on Gane's part. I'm no longer a fan.
That's all it
Uh,
took.
Pretty much, yeah. Just being taken down by a dude who has zero wrestling until that particular fight. Like, what the hell? You know, you couldn't defend that shit. What the hell?
To his credit, though, those were not normal takedowns. They were nothing but power. But to his detriment, Francis only had like one good knee. So either Francis is, well, I guess we do know that he's a super sexual tyrannosaurus, but I guess he's got like incredible, endless power in his legs or his good leg. But yeah, that was a bit like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, even afterward, he couldn't. I don't know, man. I thought it was pretty damn lame. I'm sticking with Ty, plus 400. I'd say go for it. Um, he's. I don't know if he'll knock out Cyril, but Cyril's going to play the distance game here. He's going to be a little B, um, and he's gonna do the his best impression of Machida and play the distance game. But Ty is gonna try to make it exciting. So that's why I'm rooting for Ty. I'm picking him here, and I'm just gonna say, let's say Ty by KO in the fourth. I'll stick with that. But
Trust his
Ty,
gas tank, being that this is the first time he's going 5 rounds in the UFC.
no man, screw that. Ty's my guy. I'm gonna. That's my slogan for now.
Ty's your guy.
Yeah.
Shit, something inside me would die if Tai Tuivasa wins this fight. Like to me, it's not logical at all that Tai wins it. Cyril again, like fuck, man, I've seen it time and time again, right? Where the big fat dude knocks out the like incredibly jacked black dude. I just don't see it happening, man. He's just too good of a athlete. But we'll see. We'll see
I'm
what
I'm
happens, man.
hoping I'm hoping he wins, and he goes against Francis and then knocks out Francis too, and then
Won't that
he
be some shit,
becomes
man? Like how?
he's gonna dude he's gonna be the he's gonna live up to what Mark Hunt almost got.
And then what's next? What are you going to tell me that fucking Bilal Muhammad's going to win the belt from Leon Edwards? He's going to knock him out with a head kick himself?
No, not Bilal Muhammad. No, what I predicted was in the featherweight division. Shit, what's his name again? Bald guy has a lot of power. He
Volkanovski?
just came back from it.
Oh,
No, no,
Emmett.
no.
Emmett.
Emmett. Yeah, Emmett's going to be the one to dethrone Volkanovski. I'm sticking with that, man. And last week I predicted, I went with the underdog. I predicted Leon. He came through.
Yes,
So
you did, didn't you?
let's keep it going, man.
How did you feel about that knockout? What? Because I don't think you watched it, right? You weren't watching live, clearly.
Yeah, no, I saw the, a replay of the, no, not even a replay, just a highlight of the
Mm.
knockout itself. I was like, oh, it was pretty cool. I
Dude,
feel,
it
I
was.
feel, I felt very happy for Leon because, like, man, the UFC basically shit on him. They didn't just shit on him. They, they told him to lean his head over the edge of the bed, and then they squatted down and basically shit in his mouth for years. Yeah, it sucked. He got the raw end of the deal, but he got his title. He got revenge against Usman. He's hopefully going to make the division exciting again. He's going to beat the shit out of Masvidal, who I don't really like, and who I thought has been overrated. He got his Masvidal's claim to fame and his highlight is, against that guy who looks like a substitute teacher. What's his name?
An aspirin.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so it's I'm happy for Leon, and I hope he does get his money fights against like Colby and Masvidal and whoever else is in the division. It would be cool for him to allow a rematch of Nate Diaz, right? But for the title, that would have been cool.
I mean, I'm expecting that to happen after Nate Diaz knocks out Chimaev.
No, I think he's gonna rear naked choke him.
You think so? So yeah,
or triangle him.
I guess it's really up to Diaz in that situation because I think he's got all the cards to beat Chimaev, who, in my opinion, I think he's super overrated, man. I think Chimaev is actually going to meet his match in Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz is going to whip his ass, and I think he's going to knock him out in not even in the first round. I'm going to say the first like 0.5 of the first round, right? Like the first, and I don't mean like half of the first round. I mean literally like he's going to come out, and then Nate Diaz is going to like throw the first left hand and knock him out cold. Because as we know, Chimaev does not have a chin under that beard.
Not really, no.
Nope, not at all.
There's nothing there.
Did we just spoil all of next week? Is that next week?
No, not really.
No? Okay. Well, we'll go into more detail as to how Nate Diaz is going to win that fight.
Yeah, I don't think most people get this far anyway, so.
You'd be surprised. But yeah, so you've got Ty, I've got Gane, gone, whatever. I mean, it's a decent enough main event. Like, I'm going to watch it, but I think the odds kind of scream it to me what's going to happen. So moving on, I will tell you what my possible parlay is going to be. Like, I'm thinking maybe doing some dumbass shit, but like, there's a lot of guys on here that I do not feel even comfortable considering putting on my parlay. So I'm going to stick to like a very simple 3-person parlay. I've got Nasrat, I've got Imavov, and I've got Charles Jourdain. Actually, I forgot. Let me put Gane on there. So those 4. That is a plus 300 through my local casino. So I might actually play that one. Not too much. I haven't really been putting too much money down on my bets anymore. Like I've been fighting the goddamn government. But so I got to save all my money. But yeah, I've got very, very light bankroll that I will be putting down on this particular parlay. The Nasrat, Imavov, Jourdain, and Gane.
Yeah, this is not a card you want to go heavy on. You want to go light. I would say, if you're able to control yourself, try to max it out at like 10% of your bankroll. If, at the most, less if possible, or just skip it altogether. Because there aren't a lot of good fights or odds here. But if I have to, if I had to make a bet, I would go with Whittaker, Jourdain, the Imavov. And that would be it, man. I'm not really too confident, to be honest, in the rest of the fights too.
So those 3, Imavov, Jourdain.
Yeah, even the main event, I'm like, I know I'm going with Ty, but yeah, man, it's going to be,
shit, dude, we just saw.
Could be a repeat of like Derek Lewis or some shit.
Whoa, like Leon, for example. Like we just saw the dominant champion. In this case, Cyril Gane, we'll compare him. Like he's going to be dominant on the feet, not being able to get touched, and just lands something perfectly, and he knocks out Cyril Gane. Like Gane's very hard to hit, especially cleanly on the chin, but it's fucking heavyweight, man. It's anything goes in that division. It's the Wild West up there. But yeah. Overall though, so if you were to get those 3, that gives you a plus 230. But no, like if I'm gonna go with a dog, like I mentioned before, I'm gonna take where'd he go? Marvin, which plus 190 coming at my casino. And then maybe for us, I might do something. We'll see if I end up putting some dumbass parlay, which let's be honest. I'm talking like I'm gonna be restrained, but I'm probably gonna do something really stupid. I'll post it on Twitter and on Instagram. But you have anything else to add before we go?
No, not really.
Yep. So that's been Johnny and Jose from Tiger Bomb MMA. Just make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Especially leave a comment. I like interacting with people. Shout out to the boys in the Discord. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and whatever. And yeah, I'll leave you at that. Catch you at the next fight. And also, how do you say fuck Oberg in French? I don't
Were
know.
you asking me, or is that like just a hypothetical? Or
I don't know. I really don't know how to say fuck. I know some French, but not fuck. Unless it just translate. I guess, pardon my French, fuck Oberg.